Oh hi, it's Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy. We need to talk about this, and we need to feel comfortable with it because I am. I think we need to talk about the importance of complimenting other guys on their hair. In a manly way, of course. You know, my code that I live by here. You know, victims versus victors. That whole thing. How to choose to be victorious in your everyday life versus allowing yourself to become a victim. And the very first set on there is complimenting others versus criticizing others. Now, here's how I feel, and I feel that I'm very qualified to say this, that as the host of these hundreds of videos about hair loss, that the overall culture that I see here is I see, and I'm not trying to, like, I want to be direct and say this without seeming offensive. I never want to seem like I'm talking down to anybody at all. What I want to say is I feel that the lack of confidence is what drives a lot of people to be watching these videos to begin with. And I'm not trying to put down my own audience here at all. What I'm trying to say is I keep talking regularly about if you have confidence, you can actually override hair loss. Even if I go bald, I'm still going to be just as confident as I am now. That's a fact. And so with that being said, I feel that I see this in the comments too. I'll see people who seem to be very insecure about themselves, not because they say that, but because they seem to have a lack of inner peace. I feel like they're so quick to criticize, and that comes across like they're not confident in themselves. So therefore they have to criticize someone else to make themselves feel better. And when I see that as a place of insecurity is what I see that as. Now granted, I'm completely open to constructive criticism, which is why I made those videos asking you to tell me whether I look better with a shaved head or with hair. You know, and ultimately in the end, it's still about 50-50. So, you know, half of America thinks I look better with a shaved head and half feels that I look better with hair. So ultimately, I guess it's irrelevant. So that's one of the reasons, personally, I'm not worried about losing my hair. Not that I want to, but if I did, at least half of America still feels the same. It's just one particular half compared to the half now that sees me with hair. But ultimately, nobody cares about my hair anyway, especially not my wife. So why would I even bother with it? But ultimately, it's about complimenting others. How can we find a way to compliment others? And what I feel is a demographic where people are have an insecurity about this to begin with, right? So if you know that that's something that a lot of men are insecure about is their hair loss, and it may not even be major hair loss. It may be very minor, maybe like mine. I think a lot of people would say mine is fairly minor, comparatively speaking, for a 35-year-old man. How can we, instead of adding to the noise, how can we help other men with as they're dealing with this? Well, I'll tell you something I do. When I see a guy that has a good head of hair, whether I know him or not, I tell him that. I mean, for me, I just say, hey, I have this YouTube channel where I talk about receding hairlines and stuff, and helping encouraging other guys with that. And I have to say, you're lucky. You look at you've got a full head of hair, and you know, a lot of the guys watching my videos wish they had what you have. And then it makes that guy feel good about himself. Not that he had any control over it. He was born with those genes, assumedly speaking. I've never personally spoke with anyone I knew that had any kind of hair plugs or anything like that done. But what I'm doing is I'm finding a way to encourage that guy. There's like a bug on my finger. That's why I was blowing. And so I find a way to encourage that man. Now, granted, maybe that man, he's probably got his own insecurities, his own distractions in life. Because I've made a video about that before, talking about how you can trade one insecurity for another. If you finally learn that hair loss isn't that big of a deal in the end, like I have, that ultimately, okay, well, what's my next insecurity that I'm gonna allow myself to worry about? That's a natural thing, kind of almost the opposite of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm just telling you, I do compliment other guys on their hairlines and on their thickness. Comparatively speaking, if they've got better hair than me, you better believe I'm going to say it. Now compare that to something I've mentioned before. I've had other men that are older than me with better, thicker hair than me point out the fact that I'm got receding hairline and I'm thinning in the back. They made a point to point that out, which only goes back to the fact that even men with fuller heads of hair still have insecurities. Therefore, they feel the need to point that out about me. please remember, this is how it works. The reason people criticize other people, and I don't mean constructive criticism. I don't mean that. I don't mean like, hey man, let me show you a better way to do this one thing or another. I want to help you out. That's constructive criticism. But it's just far as saying, hey, you've got an ugly hairline, your forehead's too big. Obviously, that's a very juvenile, selfish point of view if someone's doing that. If someone takes the time to tell another man that his hairline, something that he can't naturally control, is not that great, to me that comes from a place of selfishness and insecurity. Okay, I don't think anyone could argue that I'm confident in myself. Even today, one of my coworkers I've known for years, he said, man, I finally watched your videos, and yeah, you do have what it takes to be a TV host. You have a certain confidence about you that a lot of people don't have. So yes, that is true about me, but I think the opposite is easily provable. That someone who doesn't have that amount of confidence in themselves, they're going to be quicker to judge other people and to criticize them for things that they can't control, like hair loss. So what if I carry the torch and I say, you know what, I'm going to find ways to compliment other people, which again goes back to my beliefs right here, being victorious, choosing to be victorious versus allowing myself to be a victim. So therefore, whether it's hair, whether it's accomplishments in life, whatever it is, I am not intimidated by anyone else's accomplishments or better hair. In fact, I need to go ahead and point that out and just make sure they are aware that I noticed that thing, whatever it is, but especially if it's another guy's hair. So that's what I do. Do whatever you want to with your life. I'm just saying that I have found peace. Have you found peace? Are you criticizing others, or are you complimenting others? I'm telling you, your life can't get better until you're complimenting other people all day long and finding a way to do it. Because you never know what other people are going through on that day. They can be smiling and they can ask how you're doing, but they may be going through quite a crisis. And your compliment, as petty as it may be, about saying, hey man, you got a nice head of hair. And you can say that confidently to another man, that may be all the strange compliment he needs to think, okay, maybe I can get through this. You may not believe me, but it's true. I know these sort of things. I'm older than you, right? I'm 35. I've seen more than you have. I know how this works. I've been through some crises myself, and I know that. So compliment others, find a way to compliment others. And I don't mean girls that you find attractive. Obviously that's a given, but I'm talking about other men in a non-romantic way. I think it's important that we build each other up, of the same gender and of the same demographics here. It's a good thing to build each other up. We who have any kind of hair loss, or eventually will. I don't think anybody could argue with me that I'm saying something that's not relevant here. It's a good idea to compliment others. So try it out. My name is Nick Shell. I am the internet receding hairline guy. And when it comes to certain things, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I feel when it comes to building other people up instead of criticizing them, I think that's always the right decision. Nick Shell, internet receding hairline guy.